Have you ever seen an American suburb and thought, wait, are these houses made of wood? And then the next thought hits even harder. In the richest country on earth, why are so many homes basically built out of what looks like giant toothpicks? If a hurricane can rip roofs off and wildfires can erase whole neighborhoods, why not build everything out of brick or concrete like so many other places? All right, let's start the search. First, the scale. Wood framing isn't a niche thing in the US, it's the default. According to the National Association of Home Builders, wood framing accounted for about 93% of single-family homes completed in 2023. And NAHB's more recent analysis using census data puts 2024 at about 94%. So if you're wondering why do Americans build with wood, you're really asking why did the entire US housing system evolve around one material? To answer that, we have to rewind, because this wasn't a random preference, it was a technology shift. And once you see that shift, the modern house suddenly makes a lot more sense. In the early 1800s, building a house the old way meant heavy timber and skilled joinery. Mortise and craftsmanship that took time and expertise. Then the US hit a turning point. Machine-cut lumber and machine-made nails became widely available. A new method called balloon framing took off in the 1830s. The Chicago Public Library describes how, by the 1830s, those industrial materials became commodities, making lightweight nailed framing practical and affordable. Instead of needing master carpenters to cut complex joints, builders could assemble a strong skeleton quickly with standardized pieces. That matters because it rewired housing economics. Wood framing helped the US build fast during periods of massive urban growth and westward expansion, when speed and labor efficiency were everything. And then balloon framing evolved into platform framing, the modern standard where each floor is built as a platform, which speeds construction and simplifies work. So history explains how it became dominant. But the bigger question is why it stayed dominant, especially when other materials exist. That's where geography and supply kick in. The US has long had a massive domestic timber base and a mature wood products industry. The US Forest Service notes that 96% of US consumption of industrial wood comes from domestic supplies, which is a huge indicator of how integrated wood is into the national economy. And today, the wood sector is still enormous. A UN Economic Commission for Europe Market Review reports the US produced tens of millions of cubic meters of softwood lumber in a single year, reflecting industrial-scale supply. Now connect that to construction. If your country has a deep lumber supply chain, standardized dimensional lumber, a workforce trained around it, and factories that can prefab walls and roof trusses, wood framing becomes the fastest path from empty lot to finished home. That's why wood framing isn't just cheap material. It's an entire system. Standardized sizes, predictable connections, fast installation, and easy repairs or remodels. And those economics show up everywhere from suburban subdivisions to small contractors, because time is money. But here's where the story gets tense, because every time someone says wood houses, someone else says fire, termites, hurricanes, and tornadoes. Here's where things get uncomfortable. On paper, building with wood sounds like a terrible idea in a country that deals with wildfires out west, hurricanes in the southeast, and tornadoes ripping through the plains. And to be fair, wood isn't indestructible. But that's the point. American home building didn't try to make wood perfect. It built systems around it. Layers of protection designed to meet code and survive real-world disasters. Fire first. Modern wood homes aren't just exposed timber. Inside, they're wrapped in gypsum board, drywall, specifically designed to slow down fire. US building codes don't guess here. They rely on tested assemblies, using standardized fire tests like a STME 119. In plain English, today's wood homes are built as fire-rated systems, not raw wood boxes. Now earthquakes. This is where wood quietly shines. Wood frame houses are lighter, more flexible. When they're detailed correctly, they actually handle shaking better than heavier structures. FLES residential earthquake guidance reflects this. Less weight means less force during a quake, and wood shear walls can absorb and dissipate energy instead of cracking apart. Engineers like that. Wind and hurricanes. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Extreme wind can destroy almost any typical house wood, masonry, or concrete if the connections fail. So the US response wasn't to abandon wood, it was to engineer the weak points. Hurricane straps, tighter nailing patterns, stronger sheathing, and stricter rules in higher risk zones. So why does wood keep winning? Because it's never been about wood alone. It's wood plus engineering, wood plus hardware, wood plus building codes and enforcement. And that brings us to the real answer. America didn't choose wood because it's perfect. It chose wood because, again and again, the trade-offs made sense. Let's land the plane. So why do Americans build houses out of wood? Because the US developed a high-speed housing machine built around standardized lumber and fast framing methods, from balloon framing to platform framing. Because America has a deep domestic timber supply and a mature industry that keeps lumber widely available. And because wood framing is easy to modify and repair, which fits a culture of remodeling, additions, and we might change this later. But the conflict is real. Wood construction demands good codes, good detailing, and good enforcement, especially in fire and wind zones. That's why you see the US constantly updating residential rules around gypsum protection, tested assemblies, and hazard-specific requirements. In other words, Americans don't build with wood because they're careless. They build with wood because the entire US housing ecosystem, materials, labor, financing, speed, and supply chains, it was designed around it, and the country keeps choosing that trade-off while trying to engineer the risks down. Thanks for watching.
If you like these, why does the world do this? Investigations, watch the full series on my channel.